So I'm trying to prove this. Z, this angle here, is equal to y plus x. These two angles sum to angle z. How am I going to do that? Let's go ahead and start by just giving the given information. This is easy XP here. I basically need to restate these two things, and then I have the reasoning.
Can I give you the
Go for it, India.
The measure of angle B is congruent to the measure of angle X.
So you have to be careful. So if you're talking about the measure, then it's equal. If you're just talking about the angle, then it's congruent. So measure of angle B is equal to measure of angle X. Which one is B?
Oh, V. I said V.
Oh, sorry. So the measure of angle V is equal to the measure of angle X. And what is the Y?
Or corresponding.
All right, so we want to say corresponding angles are congruent. Are congruent. There's my congruent symbol. All right. So far, so good. Let me make sure that I'm keeping up with Classcraft India.
You forgot mine from the warm-up.
No one did the warm-up. All right, so what's next? I need to somehow say something about this thing right here. Beverly, go for it. Because of vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. Are congruent. All right. We also need to talk about the fact that we have parallel lines. That should have been our first line up here, so I apologize. Go ahead and we'll just draw an arrow. Our first line should have been the given information. The given always comes before this stuff, so that's my bad. So I just need to say line segment A, B is parallel to line segment C, D.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Jaden. That just makes my day. All right. That is given information. Go ahead and do a line that says that should have been right there. This should have been right there. That's my bad. We should have always done the given information. Can someone tell me my conclusion at the very bottom? My therefore? Anna? Yeah, and you have to be a little bit more formal about it. You can either say the angle of z is congruent to the, well, I guess you can't do a plus, so you have to do the measures. Z is equal to the measure of angle x plus the measure of angle y. There it is. Thank you. And did I get people's XP? India was the last one to go, I think. Then it was just Anna. So there you are up here. All right. Next. I have all the pieces of information. Now I need to start connecting it. I know that y is connected to w. How does w connect to z? Using this triangle now that's formed by our auxiliary line. Yeah, Ellery.
So we know that the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle W equals the measure of angle Z because of what? I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the thing where like B equals C equals A.
Right, yeah, so let's go ahead and write this down. So the measure of angle V plus the measure of angle W is equal to the measure of angle Z. And that's the interior, I cannot spell, interior, I'm just going to call it the interior triangle angle theorem. I've also forgot it. But I know it's the interior of a triangle, something. Who? I did not. Sorry about that. And I should remember to do Ellery's as well. What's up?
What used to be on that?
What used to be on what?
That on the ceiling.
It was our access point. And now our access point is in Mr. Warner's room. Access point just kind of extends your Wi-Fi beyond your router. It's like another mini router that connects to other routers. That's how you should think of it. We're almost there.
Why did it take off that weight? Are they that lazy?
We're almost there because what we have now is we have z is equal to w plus v. We need to somehow transform w and v into an x and a y. And we have that up here. V and x, w and y, we can transform them. We know that I can switch them out. I'm all ready to switch them out, and I can actually do that in a different color already. I can say that, I might have to change the presets here. But I can say this. I can say that v, this one is going to turn into which angle? V is equal to which other angle? Someone help me out. Help me out, Caroline. Yeah, so I can say that one turns into the measure of angle x. W turns into India. Measure of angle y. And you can see that up here. We can sub them out. So let me give Caroline and India your XP before I forget. Yeah, I can switch those out, and then it turns into this statement right here. So I don't need a new line here. I just need the reasoning. What are we doing in this process? What is this reasoning called? Colby.
Substitution property equality.
Substitution. I'm just going to write substitution. Ooh, whoa. Substitution property of equality. There it is, Colby. Thank you. There is our proof. We finished the proof, so let's go ahead and switch this to say that's our answer, black box, or you can say QED. We are done with that proof.
Is there a shortcut to do this proof?
There are no shortcuts for proofs. There are maybe shorter ways. There is another shorter way, and I could show it to you here.
Yeah.
So, pretend we didn't draw that auxiliary line. Pretend that dashed line doesn't exist, and you have this scenario here. I'm drawing the auxiliary line here instead. This is the same problem, but instead of drawing, we used to have a dashed line right here, and then you can see, okay, yeah, there is our triangle that we used right there. We knew this angle, we knew that angle, and then we were able to get up here. But instead of doing that, now I'm taking that away, and instead I'm giving you an auxiliary line right here. How does this help us to solve the problem a different way? I'm proving the same thing, that the measure of angle z is equal to the measure of angle x plus the measure of angle y. I'm not going to actually do the full proof because we're running short on time. But what changes? What's the general process? Can someone walk me through the general process? Yeah, Ellery?
You can tell more quickly because of corresponding angles that x forms the top half of angle z and y.
So x and v are congruent?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then y and w are congruent.
Y and w are congruent.
Easily x plus y.
Yeah, exactly. So x is the same as v. W is the same as y. Both of the reason there's corresponding angles. And then w plus v is z, which means x plus y is z. We're done with the proof. I mean, well, that's not a proof, but that's the general walkthrough of the proof. Maybe that one was easier. Maybe this one is easier. It depends where you want to draw your auxiliary line. I think that we've drawn our auxiliary lines through angles like this before. That's maybe why we're more comfortable with it. All right, let's. What's up?
You like the snow?
I do like the snow, yes. Let's go to our next page. Examples.
Are you gonna go skiing with the school this year?
I'm going to try, yep. All right. So, we need this proof that the measure of angle ABC is equal to the measure of angle CDE. What that is saying is that this angle ABC is equal to CDE. And we've seen this before. Do we actually need an auxiliary line?
If you want to.
I mean, we could draw one. I don't know if we necessarily need one. How are we going to do this? This is kind of a rehash from the last lesson. All right, so I need someone to tell me how to write my given information. I need to write this is given and this is given on two different lines. How do I do my given information? This is the easier one. I'm going to give this to someone that hasn't participated yet. And I'm going to cold call on you if you don't raise your hand.
Give it to Aurelian.
All right, Jaden, go for it.
A, B, C, D, E.
Tell me how to say that. How do you say
The
this?
line of AB.
Line segment AB.
Oh, okay. Line segment AB. What of the two is congruent?
Careful.
Or parallel?
Is parallel to
The line segment CD.
CD. And why do we know that?
Because it's given.
It is given.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
It's the first time we got XP.
All right. I need to do the other given statement. Someone help me out. What's the other given statement? Someone new. This is easy XP here. You're basically rewriting the same thing but with different letters. Someone new. Chewy, go for it.
BC?
Line segment BC.
Yeah. And then a little parallel.
Little parallel.
And then DE, line segment DE.
Line segment DE. And why do we know that those two are parallel?
Because we can see it.
Because it is
Given.
given.
Good job, too.
Thank you, Chewy. Why is my mouse all acting weird? All right. I need to write my conclusion down here. My therefore. Someone that hasn't participated yet. I might cold call if you don't raise your hand. Therefore. We're talking about this is our therefore. Shannon, you want to help? Oh, never mind. Leo participated. Measure of angle ABC. Measure of angle CDE. And we don't know what the reasoning is yet there, so we'll just leave that. Thank you, Leo. All right. Okay, so what are we going to do on this proof? We've done this before. We've seen the almost exact same proof before, if not the exact same proof before. Anna, tell me.
So, measure of angle ABC is equal to the measure of angle BCD because alternate interior angles.
So EDC, can you say the other one again?
BCB.
DCB. And maybe we should call it CDE. That way it matches with this one down here. Can I call this one CDE?
Yeah.
I'm going to call this one CDE. And yeah, you said alternate interior. So we say alternate interior angles are congruent. So far, so good. So this is what Anna just told us. She said that this angle and this angle are the same. They are congruent. They have the same measure. And the reason is because we see a Z there. There's a Z right here. The inside of the Z is alternate interior angles. Good. Next, what am I going to say? Beverly.
The measure of DCB is equal to the measure of CDE.
Can we call it ABC so it matches with this one?
Yeah.
ABC. Why do we know that?
Alternate interior angles are congruent.
Yep, it's the same reasoning, so we'll do the double quotes. It's the same reasoning. This is what we have just said. Beverly has said that this angle that we just stated from Anna is equal to this angle here because, again, we have a Z. Inside of the Z is alternate interior angles. Those have to be the same angle. All right. We're really close. Notice that, and I can try to color code this to the best of my ability. Notice that I have a DCB here. Maybe that's a bad color. Let's try that color. Notice that I have a measure of DCB here and a measure of DCB there. I can connect those. Those are like Lego pieces. They go together. I'm going to connect this CDE to ABC because both of these are the same thing, which is saying ABC is connected, ABC right here is connected to CDE because these two were equal. I was using some property here that someone's going to give me a quiet raised hand for. What is the reasoning to get from here to my final line? Colby.
Substitution property.
Substitution property
Of equality.
of equality.
Raise your hand.
It was raised, but
You
I didn't call on you. There it is. Done. Let's try another one. Number 2. I know it's hard, guys. I sympathize with you. I struggled with this when I was in high school as well, and I struggled with it when I was in college. But
So
if
why are you making us do it?
because you have to do it. It's a standard. I need to hit the standard.
Just skip the standard, we'll do it last.
No. We'll run out of time. All right.
I will never. Mr. Smell,
Having these formal chains of logic, it's hard, but I know that you guys can do it. There's a lot of people that are successful in here. It'll just take more time before the rest of us are successful as well. I have some given information here. Given information. That's the easiest one. I'm going to give this to people that have not participated yet. I know that Caroline wants to participate, but she's already participated. I'm going to give it to someone like Sam. I'm going to give it to someone like Atziri, someone like Cheyenne, someone like Brian, someone like Aurelio, someone like Oscar. People that have not participated. One of those names, I'm going to randomly call on you unless you raise your hand. Oscar, go for it.
Alright, is it line segment of AB
Line segment AB.
is parallel to line segment CD.
There it is. Why?
It is given.
Given. There it is. Thank you. You are now not going to be called on. All right, someone else that's new. Yeah, Sam.
The line segment of BC is parallel to the line segment of DE.
Why do we know that?
It's given.
Because it's given. Forgot the N up here. Thank you. And another cold call, unless someone new raises their hand. What is my final conclusion down here? My therefore. Yes, Cheyenne, go for it. Yeah, you'll have to be a little bit careful. So they weren't being too formal here. I'm going to start it out for you. The measure of angle. Yep.
I'm gonna have to name that tonight.
180 degrees. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Cheyenne.
Yeah, send me another one so I can see.
There's still some people that haven't participated, but now we're into the meat of the proof. So I'm not going to cold call because this is a little bit harder. The meat of the proof. Yeah, this is the hard part. Every single time you should be able to at least get this set up, even for the homework. Now, how to get information from the diagram, how to piece those together, that's the hard part. But this is something you can do every single time, over and over now. All right, so what information can we get here? We're trying to, and by the way, just to back up, we're trying to say that this angle right here plus this angle right here will equal 180 degrees. So somehow we need to connect those. And I'm free to go wherever you guys take me. Anna, take me somewhere.
So DCB, we could just label that one in E.
This one right here?
Yeah,
You said E?
yeah.
Okay.
So E is congruent to
E is congruent to,
B because of alternate.
yep. So I just want to back up here. Make sure everyone can see that. Anna here is seeing this Z right here, and she's saying that the inside of the Z has to be the same. So in her proof, and I'm going to change it a little bit to what you said. In our proof, we're going to say that the measure of angle E, because you said it correctly, you said E is congruent to B, but I'm going to keep with the measures just so that we stay consistent. Measure of angle E is equal to the measure of angle B, and Anna also told me it's by alternate interior. We're going to say alternate interior angles. I could write out the word angles like that. It's a little bit longer. I just say angles like this. Angles are congruent. Okay, now I've connected B to E. Somehow we need to connect E to D because we have to get to D for our proof. We're basically there. We have one more line, essentially. Colby. So the measure of angle E plus the measure of angle D is equal to 180. Why?
I don't remember what it's called, but I know that.
All right, you get a call on someone.
Same because of same side interior.
Same side interior angles are
Or add to 100.
add to 180, so they're supplementary. Nice. All right, Colby, Ellery. All right. And we're really close, right? Because we need to somehow turn this statement right here into this statement right here. It looks so close. We're so close. Look what happens. Mr. Sindel will try to make this as clear as possible. D. That turns to D. 180. That turns to 180. The only thing that we're missing is changing E to B. But look, we have that right here. E is B. Somehow we just need to swap them out. What is the word that we use to say swap them out? What is the word with a quiet raised hand to say swap them out? It's almost the same thing for the last step for the last one. Yeah, Aurelio, go for it.
Substitution.
Yeah.
Substitution property of.
When you got this guy, you got this, really.
Property of.
I thought you were just letting me.
It is substitution. I'm going to give you the XP. Try to get this. Substitution property of.
Equality.
Equality. There it is.
You're welcome. Equality.
Thank you, Aurelio.
This is the day we all should just remember.
I brought my heater control.
We're done with the proof. What do we do at the end of our proof?
Why?
What do we do at the end of our proof? India.
You draw a little square and color it in, or you choose.
You do this or you do QED. Usually you don't do both unless you're crazy. I'm just showing you both here. You do a little square, fill it in, or you say a QED. Good job, India. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next page.
Alright, this is the last one.
How much time do we have left on a Thursday? On a Thursday, we get out of here at 43. No, we don't have enough time. Which means we have to go to
We can't do the homework either. We don't have enough time.
the problem set. You have to do one problem tonight for homework.
Oh my god.
Easy, right? Start on it now.
No.
Do number one.
You said no. Work.
Not
Do it so you don't have to do homework.
I love homework.
Turn it into classwork. Classwork is easier than homework because you have your friends. You have Mr. Sindel. The problems.
Can we
Yeah.
draw auxiliary lines?
You are allowed to draw as many auxiliary lines as you want. Problem number one is for homework. Tomorrow night, we're going to have problem number 2. So do number 1 so you don't have to do number 2, 1, and 2 tomorrow. That concludes the notes.